We made over 900 pips on our last video like this, our last public swing trading 4-hour experiment, and that's including a loss. That's insane, right? That 900 pips to you is worth like $9,000, $900, $90, $90,000, depending on what your initial investment is, where you're starting at, and of course, kind of what your risk parameters are. That's the purpose of these 4-hour kind of public swing trading 4-hour experiment videos, is so you can figure out that it's as easy as you make it on yourself, that trading is easy. People make it hard. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Jenny Baker, and I am the six-figure trading coach. We're here real quick, just going to go over the video we posted 2 weeks ago, literally to this date, saying, hey, here's, a couple of trades we're looking at. Here's how we're managing them. Here's what we're doing. And then, of course, we review those 2 weeks later, and we look for a couple of more. The purpose of doing this publicly and live, again, is just to show you that trading is easy. It's the management, it's the over trading, the over leveraging, the hopping from strategy to tool to indicator, blah, 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 blah. That makes it so painstakingly hard. So before we go any further, we have to take a moment to, of course, talk about two things. Number one, disclaimer. Man, the regulations, the regulatory bodies, the SEC, the people, the powers that be are coming after it, apparently, seemingly, everything. So these videos on YouTube, in class, live, public, wherever, in our private communities, are for educational purposes only. Do not trade what you cannot afford to lose. Very, very simple, right? This is not to be considered legal, investment, or financial advice of any kind. The only idea is to take this kind of, what do you call it, the public forum, right? To say, hey, look, here's something that anybody can do if they put their mind to it, if they take the time to learn the skill. But at the end of the day, you're still in charge of you, whether you're using an EA, a copier service, a signal service, you're going to classes, regardless of where you're getting that information from, just know that it's 100% up to you. So now that our disclaimer is done, man, we're starting off on the bad foot. But I mean, if anything, we're really good at the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Wow. The last couple of weeks has been a whirlwind of broker information. So I'm going to pause here again. YouTube and the internet is going haywire with clickbait and all the people who are saying, well, this is why this is happening, and this is why, and this is how, and this is who, and this is blah, 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 blah. As of today, we do not have any definitive information that is factually based from any of the regulatory parties, the crypto, the SEC. We don't have that data. So yes, there's a scramble on the brokers right now. Many of them apparently are kind of backing off of crypto. Many of them apparently are kind of backing off of MetaQuotes. My advice and what I'm doing for me is I'm going to maintain my broker relationships with all the brokers that I've used to date. I'm going to make sure that I'm established with them just in case they do close the future doors to future U.S. people, right? I'm going to maintain those. I'm going to stick with the brokers that are offering or working with MetaQuotes for as long as that lasts. If we do have to go to something web-based or to different platforms, we'll deal with that when it comes. But ultimately, the next few weeks and months are going to be a headache. A couple of the brokers are shutting down for a few weeks at a time, even to say, hey, we'll get back to you in a few weeks once we have this worked out. A couple of the other ones have went to web-based platforms or other platforms of kind of that, their own making, ACT, TradeStation, TickLocker. I think I said that wrong. Whatever, Tick something. You guys get the idea. They're going all over the place. So if your tools, your indicators, your EAs are all based off MetaQuotes, there are a couple of brokers in this link tree that are still going to be doing that. FX Choice is one of them. If you're not already registered, my understanding is they will not take you as of today. If you already are registered and are a U.S. citizen, you're allowed to maintain that account. AFX also is still maintaining MetaQuotes and U.S. clients, as well as LQD. There's a couple of others as well. So I'm going to maintain those to the best of my ability in the interim of time. So before you get all panicky, remember that you, at the end of the day, are a trader. You're an investor, or you're learning the skill. Maybe you're just, an infant, or maybe you're just an elementary, person, right? That's okay. Wherever you're at in your journey, maybe you're a doctorate. Who knows? Just know that you're a trader and you're an investor, and you will be on whatever platform. You will be, with or without our unregulated brokers and our leveraged money, we will still be able to trade in the markets. It's just going to be a matter of how, when, and where after all this stuff comes to play. So stay calm, carry on kind of concept. And that's all I've got on that. This is pretty much trash at this point. I got to tell you the truth. Pip counts, right? We're big on that because I like to show the good, right? The bad, the everything in between. But because of the variations from broker to broker, that's going to be very difficult. So as of right now, we've been mostly to date on Hugo's Way. We did like 2 weeks on Hero. And then, of course, now we're on AFX. Hugo's and AFX being long-standing brokers, pip counts are very, I'm almost certain they're the same as Hugo's way, but there are some differences or could be some differences. So take that with a grain of salt to the best of our ability. Your broker might have, it micro-lotted. You guys might have a slightly different circumstance based off of your country, what have you. But you guys get the idea. A point, a measured move, you guys know what that is. It just might be a different value in terms of wherever you're coming from. So that's all I've got in terms of the no fun stuff. At the end of the day, we're here to compound, right? I think this is something coming toward the end of the year that just makes great dinner party conversation. And then I'm going to get to the results and I'm going to get to the trades. Don't worry, I'm going to hurry too because my littlest son has a wrestling match. So that's where I'm going after I'm done with this video. But hear me out. $1 million today, or a single penny doubled, right? This concept is such a mind-blowing concept for those of y'all who have never seen it. 1 penny doubled every day for 31 days is over $10 million. That is the purpose of learning this skill. Now, you don't have to hit this. Who needs this? Okay, I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. 10 million is great. Woohoo. You can fail at this by 90% and still 10x Wall Street. You can still retire your spouse. You can still have some financial freedom, some independent wealth, if you will. Maybe not, 5 Lambos parked out front, but just some financial freedom, right? That's it. The purpose of learning this skill is this right here, is to compound your efforts and to compound your investments. That's it. And I just think this is such a beautiful concept. And on that note, let me hit stop share. I'm not kidding when I say I woke up this morning with this concept in my mind that almost anybody could make like $300,000 in a year. And I'm talking in 100 hours, 100 work hours. That's about 2 hours a week. That literally almost anybody has the capacity to learn this skill. Our last call that we did was on 11/28. Let me go over these trades. Let me tell you where that number in my mind just kind of downloaded to me on my waking hour this morning. But on the 28th, we looked at 2 trades, and we actually had a couple of carryovers again and again. Oh, man, the chef, it's still not ready. It's still doing its thing. I think even when I looked prior to recording this, it's still not moving. But I digress. This was a full-out loss. That is hitting our structure stop loss plus our ATR pad defined above, right? NZDCHF, also the chef pair. It moved our predetermined 25 to 50 pips that we're no matter what protecting at, right? That means you're locking some amount of money in no matter what. So one way or another, you should have had some profit on this trade if you're following along demo, paper trading, or live money. But needless to say, this actually still has some more room, so we're going to carry that over to this following week. And then, of course, EURAUD and Chef JPY. Both of these trades played out stinking beautifully, like they were perfect. I think Chef JPY popped up for a second. I hope my team can put this together for me. One of the guys in their group made over, I think it was 1,500% gains on this single trade. Like he had turned a very tiny account into a pretty sizable chunk of change in a very short amount of time, if you think about it. And it equaled to be about a 1,500% gain. And of course, Wall Street and your 401k is pitching you 10% in a year after their, not including their fees and stuff, of course, right? But that's insane. 1,500%, absolutely crazy. One trade. I hope that we can get that screenshot posted as well, but we'll see. Don't quote me on that. Overall, we got over 900 pips in that, again, 20-minute period, including the loss, right? I am not going to record the risk to reward ratio here because we're going to wait until see how this plays out a little bit. This one was a full stop loss, obviously. This one was perfect. This one also made that big spring, and either way, from where the 3 fractals back were, well, you can kind of see with that a little bit less than 2.5 to 1. Still not bad. Overall, that's 16,000 pips that we've got so far. Average win to loss ratio pip-wise is 4 to 1. Not too shabby. Since we've started kind of updating the actual gain on risk to reward based off of the actual things that I'm managing and running, you're still averaging about a 2.83 to 1. That is freaking phenomenal. Excuse my French. I didn't cuss YouTube. But listen, seriously, it's phenomenal. So that equals something, right? I'm going to show you this, then I have to show you one other thing, and then we'll get going. For the most part, most people are not trading a 10-cent lot, but you might be. Either way, you made about $370 an hour or up to about $1,600 in a very small amount of time. This took about 4.5 hours. Granted, you can double that because there's all these little nuances and intrinsic kind of things that you have to figure out and do. I get it. But actual chart time, that took about 4.5 hours to make that on the very tiniest, babyest lot size. That's not including compounding, meaning your account should, in theory, be larger here than it was here. So this 1% trade should be a different value than this, 1%, because 1% is worth more now, right? Same concept. That's incredible. Most people, a standard lot is a 1.0. That's what a standard lot is. For those of y'all who don't know, please forgive my Mac giving us all these little ding-dongs. But what that equals, and this is only 15 weeks. So 15 weeks at about 20 minutes of class or video, what have you, that's worth over $168,000. That's provided, granted, you took 100% of the loss and 100% of the gain. It's provided that you did not compound. And it's also not including, hey, I saw this move, I took my first entry, I took another entry, at retest, I took another entry, and allowing these winners to pay you 3 times as much as the losers, which we talk about in our private community. But either way, that's crazy, right? $168,000, 15 weeks, and 4 hours. Double it, fine, let's say 8 hours. That's what's possible. Now, obviously, you need the skill set. Obviously, you need to have some investment in there to make that work. Otherwise, it's not going to. To give you an idea, monetary value, if you started your account with $500, you're risking 1%. This is about where you're going to be landing, okay? If you're starting with about $10,000, you're risking 1%. That's about where you're going to land after 15 weeks, right? That's not bad. It's 125% of your account, or growth, I should say. If you're risking 5% per trade, and this is not exact, please don't hold anybody to this, because your account, your exact entry, your management, your broker, your commissions, your swaps, there's variables. Don't get me wrong, but either way, you make 600% at a 5% risk. And this is ballsy. Okay, this is aggressive. This is definitely not safe trading, but just to see what's possible, right? Some people have the extra $1,000, $5,000 to blow, and they're blowing it on stuff that equals nothing in their future. If you do, and you blow it on something that actually matters, this is where you can land. This is where you can land, even in here. That means you already made your $50,000 literally in 15 weeks. So where I came up with it this morning was I saw this. I saw it before I even opened my eyes. And then I promise we're going to get to the chart. But it's $299,000 based off of $1. This is what we do most of our time. We're on US 30. Don't get me wrong. I have definitely been trying to sell US 30 for a hot minute, and I'm still evidently not done. But for good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And all the stuff in between. Needless to say, $299,000. For the most part, most of these pips you see here that we've accomplished this year are worth $1 because most of them are indices. That's the minimum amount of money you're going to make. That, again, is not including compounding. That took very few hours, okay? Very, very few hours. And we usually spend a lot of that time hanging out and just talking about, anything under the sun. That's $300,000. If you failed at this by 50%, paid all your taxes and your fees, you're still making 6 figures in 2-3 hours a week. That's what's possible by learning this skill. So I'm done on my soapbox for now. Let's go take a look at the actual charts. Let's go back here just so you guys know what we're looking for. We're looking for the continuation on NZDCHF, EURAUD, and USDCAD. There's a few other pairs I kind of like too, but I'm going to sit on my hands seeing as how it's the end of the year. Let's be smart instead of silly. Okay, broker scramble included. I had to go and manually look for these, so if they're a little bit off, please refer back to the previous video. Everything is recorded, duplicated, and public for a reason. It's just to show proof in work, right? To show proof of what's possible. So where it's not subjective, it's not, it's not anywhere except for right in front of you where you can see it, you can go back test it, go back prove it with your own 2 eyes. So let's start with our previous trades. Those are these blue ones, and then of course we're going to land on these magenta-ish purple ones. Let's start with the loser. I am still very bullish on this pair. It is not ready to this very second. I was hopeful even at the time when we made this spring. I still had a couple positions. I got out of the majority of them, I think, right in here. I still have another position personally. But either way, we're still selling. We're 100% selling. We're not ready. Our 1, 2, 3 kind of area back, this is our structure. Luckily, the ATR pad is not very big on this. So needless to say, full out loss, never a good time, but it's part of real trading, right? So we're going to remove that from our watch list. I am not trying to buy it today. Let me tell you what. Not doing it. Taking it off and done. So next we have Chef JPY. This was beautiful. Like I said, somebody in our group actually made like over 1,500% or 18. I think it's 1,500. But he turned a very small amount of money into a very large amount of money in literally days, not months. We did come up into this range all within this kind of little spring. We moved all the way down, 570, 580-ish pips. Not a bad way to be. Perfect. I told our people, I think it was the other day, that I would be looking for another reentry if and when it confirmed on a lot of the JPY pairs. But we got the vast majority of this. So I'm good. I'm not tracking. I'm not chasing. I'm done with this pair for the moment being. Take that off of our watch list. EURAUD was also really smooth. No big spring because we kind of caught it right after that spring. A nice little liquidity grab there. Consolidated for a hot minute and dropped perfectly. To give you an idea, I mean, in total, this moved, I don't know, I did know. That darn circle's in my way. 330, 3 something. You guys get the idea. 334, 340-ish. I'm measuring slightly below that line. Kind of nice. And because this is where our last few fractals are, plus a cushion that puts our stop loss right up here, the risk to reward on this was perfect. It was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Take that off of our watch list. And we're done, son. Last but not least is NZDCHF. So first things first, please note we caught this also on the 7th. And then again on the 28th. Okay? So we caught a big portion of this move already once. We caught a baby portion twice. Just to measure, again, for verification, we say you have to protect within 25, 50 pips. You guys can see with your own 2 eyes. This moves that fair and square. We've got it predefined. There's no subjectivity of if this could work. If I did what she said to do, would I have had comparable results? That's the question, right? No subjectivity. That follows the rules that we already have predefined and have had predefined for quite some time. Needless to say, up until this last literal hour here, we're still very much looking like we have some more room. I'm going to leave this open to buy. So right now, here's our structure. Even if we want to go full out structure, we are nowhere near that. We've got our first 50-ish pips. I want to wait for another reentry. Personally, I'm going to go, please forgive that, I'm going to go to a smaller time frame and wait for a reentry myself, and it's going to send me an alert to my phone is how I'm going to manage this. But ultimately, if I go to a bigger time frame, we have quite a bit of room to the upside. So I'd like to see us stay and kind of respect this trend line a little bit. We have a lot of room. We're going to keep that up. So as of right now, here's what we're going to do. Is I'm going to go back to the 4 hour, stay true to form, use this on the candle prior to the one that we're on, right? Minimize it out, make it super ugly. Super. And pull this all the way into here. I'm going to make this magenta now, so you guys know it's part of this week's trades. And ta-da! So this way we can kind of accurately deduce that risk to reward for our spreadsheet, but also for ourselves. And then there's that. There's quite a few pairs that I like that are setting up. They're setting up per the strategy, but they're also setting up via structure, via technical analysis. I want to stay true to form to the best of my ability, particularly on here. We bounce around a lot in the morning, mostly because it's more real time, more right now, looking for the move that's going to play out in the next couple of days. This has more room, so I want the most accurate possible trade. So today, I'm looking for USDCAD. USDCAD. I'm going to put my vertical line on the candle prior to the candle that it's currently open, right? I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to make this an active order, so I'm going to drop this perforated line, double click. Look at me narrate everything I'm doing. I can monologue. Let's see. I can't pick the right color though. Green. So I'm looking for this buy. That's USDCAD active right now. So now I have to open my other AAFX. Since I'm limited on how many brokers I've got open at the time. I'm bouncing around. Oh, I know I do this all the time, but real talk, supposedly, and I'm pretty sure this is the case, Hugo's Way is MetaQuotes or MT4 Pro is compatible with all of our stuff. I've seen it firsthand. I just haven't done it myself. So something to think about. Real quick, let me not do this. Let's go back out. I'm looking for quite the move. I'm looking for this to come up into this range. Right into here. I want to see how we react here if we're just going to make a spring and then pull down first and move to the upside. And then what reaction we get here, if I could put a question mark, is going to determine if I'm going to buy it up further or what my next step is going to be. So kind of excited about that. EURAUD is last 4 hour time frame. Oof. A little bit lower than I wanted. A little bit higher than I wanted. That was a little bit better spot. Same thing. I'm buying now, so I'm going over. Let me make sure I click the right time frame so I don't mess up. EURAUD. I said that right. Something to keep in mind, EURAUD does have higher swap fees, so if you're on something that's not like AFX, just be careful because some brokers charge quite a bit on this pair. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. At least that was the case, but swap fees are a little bit different. We've got a nice triple bottom. We've got our nice golden strategy entry. 4 hour time frame. We broke above the 50. We are retesting this area. So mind you, please protect within 25 to 50 pips. We're also seriously We've come back, we've retested this low. We've come back, retested this low. We've broken down, failed to make a lower low, retested this previous low. Come back, we're barely breaking above that as we speak. So make sure you're protecting this and being mindful. I think it's well worth it. Either way, measured move style, we've got a triple bottom. To give you an idea, from where we're currently sitting, that's about 200 pips. So looking for about 200, we're always going to undershoot that just a smidge. We're still looking at that 1.66 target level. That's simple, super easy, super easy. 1.66, pretty close. I can live with that. A little bit lower, smidge lower. There you go. And that's it. I'm going to be in these 3 trades with you. I'm going to take an additional entry on NZDCHF. I am going to wait till my little 5-15 minute kind of confirms for me, just because Chef has been so ultimately problematic. So I'm in these 3 trades with you. I will, as they set up and as they continue and prove to be accurate, look on smaller time frames to say, hey, we've got that impulse. Here's the correction. I'll take another entry. And I'll manage it using all the same risk. So as I scale out or protect of that first entry, now I'm locked and I'm loaded and I'm ready to go. I'm still going to maintain the same level of risk on that trade, no matter what. At the end of the day, okay, I very rarely deviate from that. But those are the 3 trades. We have about 2 weeks until Christmas, so be mindful. I will probably post at least one more of these before Christmas. Also notate that it's the end of the year, volume's coming out, brokers are having problems. Many of them are literally closing for a couple of weeks. Plan on some things that are outside of your control, including springs, just those huge sweeps, and or just no volume at all. And when there's no volume, that means any little thing can also cause that big spring. So plan on the unpredictable a little bit for the next 3 to 4 weeks. Remember, money's not coming back until about January 15th, give or take. So this is a good time to practice on your demo. Practice, kind of organize all your platforms, clean up your VPSs, go through all your indicators and experts and files, get all your taxes and accountant stuff together, and maybe paper trade a little bit, because there's a whole bunch of stuff coming for the next couple of weeks. But either way, I'm in this with you. I will be in these trades with you. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or what have you, please do not hesitate to put them in the chat. And last but not least, I forgot to mention, what we're going to do is at the end of this month, being December, we are going to pick 3 people in the chat who have been commenting to give them a free membership in terms of our Discord community. That is our growing community where hopefully like-minded people are not only going to have a chance to kind of use things like harmonic scanners and equity managers, trade managers, everything from things that kind of draw your patterns, systems, strategies, the whole 9, all of that included, but also live access to calls as well as everything else we're doing. Definitely not a bad way to be. So anybody who's super interested, make sure you're liking, commenting, and what have you, because we're going to pick 3 commenters from any of these videos from this month. We might do this, I guess we'll do 3 this month, and we'll do some amount at the end of every month as we continue to grow and go. So hopefully this content is helpful to you. Happy Tuesday. Take care, and God bless.